Good Tuesday morning to you all. Hopefully you guys are doing well out there. We got another Watchmen update. We got a bunch of news items that we need to cover and a bunch of reports coming from you guys that are super important. We got Family Dollar caught playing games with their pricing. You got to watch your receipts, friends. More and more errors, and they all seem to be going the wrong way. They always seem to be at the expense of the customers and never at the expense of the business. We got a report on that coming up. Factories paying double for chocolate versus what they were 5 months ago. We got an insider spilling the beans. Global shipping is out of whack. We got DHL, one of the global shippers, stops shipping valuables to the United States. Anything over $800, just not going to ship it anymore. Evil Santa, or Klaus Schwab, resigns from the WEF, the WEFers. Major lithium battery banks recalled due to fire and injuries. We're talking over 400,000 of them. You may have one. If you picked one up from Amazon, make sure that you don't have one of these. Student loans are no longer going to be suspended. People are going to have to pay them back. I know it's a big change. And one Maryland family loses power, trees down everywhere, but they were prepared. Their heartwarming story of being prepared in just a little bit. Let's get into it. Welcome to the Poplar Report. I'm Steve Poplar. I'm an accountant by trade, and these are your updates that you guys are sending in from all over. If you have something to share, make sure you use the word update somewhere in your comment. That gets it to the right place. We do want to thank our sponsor, Genesis Gold Group. If you have a retirement account and you want to get out of gambling in the stock market with your retirement and get it into precious metals, something safe, Jonathan and his team can talk you through that and see what it looks like. There'll be a link at the end of the video for you to find out more. A whole bunch of you guys have done that and have found them to be very, very helpful and honest people. They've been sponsored this channel for over 3 years now. I still hear nothing but good things from you guys about them. Pope Francis passed away 88 hours at 88 years old, just hours after blessing thousands of people in St. Peter's Square on Easter Sunday. Of course, that's going to set a whole bunch of things into motion. The leader of the Catholic Church worldwide impacts a lot of people. President Trump has already recognized him and has said that he will be in attendance at the funeral. That is going to be attended by many world leaders all over. Major lithium-ion battery recall, not lithium iron phosphate, but lithium-ion. So if you have big solar packs, we're not talking about that. These battery banks are small battery banks. They're wireless chargers. 430,000 Casely wireless portable power banks recalled. Why? Well, the batteries can overheat and they can ignite. Over 51 reports already of them catching on fire with some injuries out there. So look for Casely wireless portable power banks. 430,000 out there. Someone in this audience probably has one. Definitely return it to be either replaced or refunded so that you do not burn your house down, please. Or somebody gets injured. Klaus Schwab, or as I call him, Evil Santa, at 87 years old, 1 year younger than the Pope, stepped down as chairman of the WEF, or World Economic Forum. A lot of you guys know that name, so want to make sure you guys are aware of that. We kind of knew that that was coming, but it has happened. Beginning May 7th, Americans will need real ID, or so basically some states, their driver's licenses count. Some states, their driver's licenses do not count. Pennsylvania, our driver's licenses are not real ID. So we have to get the special real ID in order to enter into federal buildings or to pass through security at airports. Your passport still works, but that's a big change, and that's going into effect on May 7th. So we'll see what happens with that. DHL, global shipper, it's like FedEx or UPS, but it's more global. DHL is going to stop global shipments worth over $800 coming into U.S. consumers. They won't ship it anymore. That's going to change things a bit, and that has to do with the tariffs and things changing out there with those things. U.S. Education Department is going to restart collections on 5 million Americans who have defaulted on their student loans. Up to this point, they're just like, they stopped paying their student loan. What should we do? Well, let's just not do anything. And that's been the Biden administration policy. Well, the U.S. Education Department's like, well, we need to start collections. Like, with student loans, you can't get rid of those with a bankruptcy or something like that. They may have to go after these people, start garnishing wages, going after their money. People took out these student loans and they need to pay them back. And I'm not saying this is a good case. A lot of you guys probably have student loans still. But a deal is a deal, right? We should pay our debts. If you borrow money, you should pay it back. And if you borrowed it for gender studies doctorate, well then you should, you're dumb. If you got a degree that you can't get a job with, that's not good. You were either duped or you made a really bad choice, or both. Let me know what you guys think about that in the comments down below. 5 million people. It's going to impact a lot. Lewis says from Indiana, a few weeks ago I bought 3 1-gallon jugs of flavored drinks that were priced at $1.25 each at Family Dollar. When I got home, I checked the receipt and noticed that I was charged $1.50 for just one of them. The rest were $1.25. Last Wednesday, I picked up 2 of those jugs of flavored drinks that were priced at $2.50 each. When I checked out, I was charged $2.75 for each. I told the cashier that the price on the shelf showed $2.50 each. I will not pay $2.75, and I took the jugs back to the cooler and put them back. I am getting tired of being lied to by Family Dollar. These were not the only times I've been lied to at Family Dollar about the price. Is anyone else having issues with Family Dollar in particular? Are you seeing them overcharging you like that as well? Let us know down in the comments. Sandra says, I bought 25 pounds box of mandarin oranges from Azure last month for $49.95. I ordered for this month the same box for $55. But they are good and good to have on hand, mandarin oranges. Especially when fever destroys the children's appetite. I've been using them for years and they work. Yeah, I mean, food is medicine, isn't it? The best way to get nutrients is to eat good food. Yeah. Patriot Lady says, Dollar General hasn't had regular cut green beans for several weeks here in the southern part of North Carolina. And seeing big shortages up here in Pittsburgh of canned green beans as well. So if you guys are seeing that, let us know about that. I'm not sure what's up with canned green beans, but maybe they're imported or something and we just didn't know it. Anyway, Jesus and Coffee says, in north central Indiana, we have a 2-in-1 store. Half is a $1.25 tree. The other half is Dollar General. I went to buy a few things based on Steve's recommendations and was surprised to see that they're closing the store. 30% off of everything. So 30% off a $1.25. Hey, it's like a buck store again. Buck tree. They are going to close and then revamp everything and reopen it as a $1.25 tree. I got some great deals. Hey, whenever you find a good deal, load up. You know how many times you've seen one of those sales or something like that and you're like, oh, I'll just take a few. How many times do you regret not taking more of them, right? When you see a good deal, you need to be ready to kind of push your money across the table and take those things in. You don't want to buy stuff that you shouldn't get, but when it's something you're already buying and you see a good deal, don't just buy a few because you're not going to come this way again soon. Sales come, but it's pretty rare to find a sale in a certain product. So you're probably not going to see a sale on that product again for a while. Speaking of deals, I saw a really great deal from Mountain House for one of their cans of beef stew. If the deal is still good, you're going to find that down in the pinned comment down below. Check that out. It was already a great deal, and then they put a 30% coupon on it. So I'll check it again, to make sure that it's still good before I put it up. So if you don't see it, I'll put another deal there. I often try to put deals that I find on Amazon and such in the pinned comment. A lot of you guys find that helpful. I have the community tab where I put posts up over there, usually 1 or 2 deals a day that I find. I go on and I look for deals for myself, and I share them with you guys. So, all right, Colorado Pack Rat Prepper says Fancy Feast wet cat food 25 count I bought on Amazon. It was $24 2 weeks ago. Today, $57. Fortunately, my 4 kitties have enough for a few months. I keep my kitties stocked up for as well. John in Central Oklahoma, Walmart. When I worked in the grocery department at Walmart in 2018, we were constantly stocking and restocking the 5 4-foot sections of counter space that held soups, especially, of course, the Campbell's soups. Yesterday at my local Walmart, Campbell's soups occupied 1 4-foot section instead of 5 4-foot sections. Just think about that. This is coming from someone who actually worked there and dealt with that. Went from 5 4-foot sections down to 1 4-foot section. I imagine that would catch you by surprise. And most of those soups were odd flavors, boutique types. Normal soups like chicken noodle, tomato, mushroom, etc. were confined to 1, 3 or 4 can facing, period. Walmart brands were hard to find because they changed the labels and reduced the number of assigned locations to less than or close to half of a 4-foot section, just 1 shelf. That really spooked me. So I started to look at all the canned foods. There are now, compared to 2018, many fewer selections and much less space assigned to each type and variety. I used to spend so much time stocking all of the garden-type vegetables and just about every other normal commodity. Foreign foods, flatbreads, foreign condiments and sauces, odd canned foods, and combos of vegetables are taking up much more space. But the canned stuff, canned tomatoes, sauces, pastas, anything tomato-based are much reduced as well in availability. Breads are of an increased variety, so all the starches, right? But much less of the staple varieties of bread. Butter of all makes was almost completely gone. Normal, low salt, mixed with olive oil, etc., not present yesterday. Very eye-opening and very concerning. It's interesting to go into a time machine, isn't it? Especially with somebody who knows those sections like the back of their hand because they spent many, many hours constantly restocking those shelves. For them to look at it and go, that's not the way it used to be. A lot less canned soups out there. We've been kind of covering that, but interesting to hear from somebody who knows it inside and out, telling us how big of a difference it is. Things are changing, friends. They want you on that manufactured stuff. They don't want you eating vegetables and all that. Mrs. Canterbury says, here in Sun City, Arizona, Safeway is redoing the store. The supplies on all the shelves are much less. Canned goods seem to be about half what it used to be. The meat department is definitely half of what it used to be. This is not something we have any control over. Prep while it's still available. Hopefully you guys are paying attention. Hopefully you guys are seeing the sea change, because things are changing around us and not for the better. Melvin says, potatoes at Food Lion sprout way too soon. This is in Middle Virginia. Organic, half and half, has doubled this year in price. Frozen blueberries up 30%. Chicken is up from $7 a pound to $9. Coffee is getting short in supply. Stores are full of people buying whatever they can afford. That's where all the ramen's probably going. C says, I work as the general manager for an ice cream store in Wisconsin. We make our own ice cream and lots of other products. I am responsible for purchasing everything that we sell at the store. Our cost of bulk chocolate that we use in our hot fudge more than doubled in just the past 5 months. And I'm having a hard time finding some of the ingredients. None of our distributors carry some of these things anymore. Monique says, Lafayette, Indiana. Aldi's has been out of turkey bacon for the past 2 weeks here. Just Nana says, my only bad experience with Keystone meats happened a few weeks ago. I have stored some in my basement and found one can that exploded on the shelf. It was in the middle of the stack and the temperature was always between 55 and 65, so I'm not sure what happened. I haven't heard many cases of that happening out there, so that does sound like a little bit of a freak accident. But with store-bought canned goods, and even with homemade canned goods, sometimes things just go wrong, right? Some mistake gets made, it happens. If you don't do it just properly and some bacteria or whatever gets in there, if the seal doesn't hold, it happens, right? And canned goods from the store are not immune to that, but it is very infrequent on those things. Provocate says, Lindt chocolate prices have doubled in price at Walmart in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. And we have a Lindt factory a few miles down the road in Stratham, New Hampshire. Lori says, Winter Haven, Florida. When the power goes out, hi, Steve. I have a tip for the people who use kerosene lamps when the power goes out. Wrap the glass globe with plastic wrap. Get some saran wrap, put it around there. Leaving both ends open so the fumes don't explode when you are not using it. Then when the power does go out, you don't have to waste water trying to clean the dust off the glass. The dust stays on the plastic wrap and you have a nice clean globe. I learned that the hard way. Hope this tip helps some of the Watchmen and Watchwomen out there. And here's a story from some folks, a family in Western Maryland who got hit with a storm Saturday. Becky says, Western Maryland, Flintstone. We were hit with a microburst Saturday evening at 8:30 p.m. and lost electric. The restore time is set for Wednesday by 4 p.m. We are doing fine as we have a solar setup. We have 3 100-watt panels and 5 batteries, which are working well on both my freezers and fridge in the basement. We have water catchments throughout the property for flushing toilets and both a charcoal grill and gas to cook on. We purchased solar flashlights and can recharge them in the sun, and the solar will run the microwave for the hubby's coffee fix. Stocked water for all the animals using empty juice containers so that they will be taken care of. The storm hit with no notice, and trees were toppled and pines snapped about 20 feet up off the ground. We have chainsaws and gas for them to be cleaned up, to clean up our 1 mile long road so we can get out if needed. Prepping is a must. We have 2 gas-powered generators, also which is running the heater for our baby chicks and upstairs fridge, as well as charging laptops. A jumper is running internet, and a mini jumper is charging up our cell phones. We built an outdoor pizza oven, and we'll be using that to bake muffins today for our breakfast, and the grill will boil our water for sweet tea refills. Drinking sweet tea and having freshly baked muffins during a storm outage, that is what preparedness is all about, friends. It has been a great adventure in living with our stocked pantry. We are very lucky as stocked gas was saved by the grace of God as the pine beside the gas shed sheared off and fell behind our trailer, but no damage to the trailer, and our gas and propane shed is safe also. Everyone needs to be prepared with backups to backups. While we can get out if needed, we have opted to stay put and see how prepped we are and learn from this experience. That's what we keep saying, friends. You never know what's going to happen in your own backyard. And to be prepared, in case your preparations get impacted. All right, friends, thanks so much for joining with us. If you want to check out another video from this channel, there's one right up here. If you want to get some more information from Genesis Gold about what you can do with your retirement account, there's a link right there on the screen. All right, friends, thanks so much for watching. Steve Poplar of The Poplar Report out.